We're going to go live here. Come on in, folks.
Oh,
Come on in. She said. Yeah, that is what she said. Let me go through and change my Facebook status before I forget. Oh, it's not even up there. Come on, dudes. Facebook, get it together. There it is. Public. Okay, come on in, everybody. We're good to go. Hope you're doing well. It's a Friday. We got stuff to watch or stuff to look at. Leroy. Leroy says, I hope Russ isn't on Hillbilly Internet again.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, Paul. No, I'm not. No. But thank you for your concern.
And me without my hee-haw clips. Anyway. Nita Lanning is in the house. Actually, I think this is timed, but she says she can help.
Lita Nanning.
Nita, yeah, Lita Nanning. You can help support ICN by sending stars.
Yes.
I keep meaning to ask you, what are these stars things?
They're like a super chat.
They're a digital millennial thing. We don't need to worry about it.
Right. Okay.
Anybody who sends us a star in the chat, we give priority to.
Great.
So it's not even millennial anymore. It's a Zoomer thing. It's a Zoomer thing. Don't worry.
It's not like we've ever received one, but they're welcome to send them, and we encourage it. So, hey. And you know what Nita says?
Joke's on you, bitch. I love this shit.
There we go.
What Nita says. Every day.
Every day. Here we go. Here's the opening.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with theory.
Facebook user says, yeah, Nita Manning. Nita Manning. Leroy says, I don't have stars. I just buy books.
Yeah.
There we are.
Yeah.
Me too. And I'll tell you this, everybody up on Facebook, all you people that have been posting Calvin and Hobbes comic strips, damn you, because I had to buy the set last week just because they were so funny. It's like, man, this strip's really evergreen. I should get that strip. I don't have that collection. So I was looking on Amazon when I was buying my Comics Unlimited and some books for the wife. It's like, oh, Calvin and Hobbes. Okay.
For a second there, when Randy was starting that sentence, it just looked like Breaking Bad. You know,
I am the one who knocks. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Or like,
I got the hair for it.
Yeah. Randy's got it perfect because his wife also loves comics.
I married a unicorn.
Yeah. So it's like every birthday and Christmas, everybody gets everything. It's great.
No. What it is every Christmas, all the kids now go, what's Dad want for Christmas? Because he's so hard to buy for. Yeah. So I have to give them. Other than that, either that or they send me whatever Doctor Who tchotchke they can possibly find. I do have an sonic screwdriver pizza cutter. So there is that.
What a time to be alive.
There you are.
Yeah, what a time.
Back when he was actually popular, they did every tchotchke that you could imagine. BBC cashed in real hard. And
yeah.
There's a sonic
merchandise
screwdriver.
sold.
Yeah, there is a sonic screwdriver pizza cutter out there, and I have it. Absolutely.
Well, I'm impressed.
That's why I said it. Anyway, I also have the Doctor Who Monopoly game. So there you go.
Oh, God.
Can you do something on the fourth world like you're doing with Two-Fisted Tales? I think we can arrange that, Leroy.
I think we can do that.
Too much problem at all. Yeah. Says, I want to read with you guys, but Two-Fisted Tales isn't really my jam. Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. Well, this is the last one.
Well, at least it's not buttered sausage.
Let's talk about buttered sausage. Talk about buttered sausage, where it comes from, what it does. Why is it doing what it's doing? Get it out of my face. Buttered sausage. It's not my jam. I don't buy jam. I buy honey, and I kiss it on the lips.
Jeez.
Small word from our sponsor.
Oh yeah, I forgot to run that too.
Yeah.
And now a word from our sponsor. Let's find a good one here. Just find anyone. Oh, well, we were talking about Calvin and Hobbes.
This podcast is brought to you in part by Arrow Comics. Buy more Arrow Comics. arrowcomics.store.
My kind of entertainment.
And relax.
And I should wipe out Leroy. It says poor Nolte. Leroy says poor Nolte. It's actually Gary Busey, but that's okay. Thanks. Come on in, folks. I'm your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can find some of my work over at arrowcomics.store. You can also, and I want to thank whoever has been listening to the podcast every time I mention the War of the Worlds Infestation graphic novel from Caliber Press, because I actually got a royalty check this last week, and I get to go to McDonald's. There we go. So thank you very much. It's available over there in hard copy, Amazon. You can find it under my name. You can find it under War of the Worlds, but I'm really happy with that 5-issue series. It has artwork by Horace, the artist named Horace, and it's still a real solid piece of work in my opinion. So go over there and purchase that if you can.
I love the McDonald's check.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I get that.
Well,
from
we were
Mark Osier every other year. I get like 50 quid.
The wife and I were talking about how much it was, and we were surprised when we opened it because it's like, yes, McDonald's.
I got it back before, but 30 odd years ago when we used to do the football pools rather than the lottery. I won. They used to get 22. You had to get 22 points, and I won. And I set to win £1.5 million. So I couldn't believe it, right? So I got my then sort of father-in-law to check it because he's good at maths. I kept adding it up, getting it wrong. He added it up. He says, you've won. And I got a check for £150 because 15,000 people won it that week.
Oh, no.
So I got 150 quid instead of £1.5 million.
Oh, mate.
Share that wealth. Also joining us this morning, Glenn Fleming. Introduce yourself, Glenn.
I'm Glenn Fleming. I'm a writer. I write books, science fiction, all kinds of things. I'm also an artist. I draw comics and do portraits and paint and do all that stuff. And I also publish the odd magazine and book. And you can find them all on Google and Amazon and just put my name in those things and I'll pop up.
Excellent. Also joining us, Mr. Russ Leach. Russ, introduce yourself.
Hello. Yes, I'm a comic book artist from the UK. I've drawn things like Doctor Who, stuff for Marvel, bit of Batman, bits and pieces here and there. My own stuff, Only Death Can Save Us. And now I'm working with Randy and Arrow Comics on The Shadow Kingdom by Robert E. Howard and moving forward to some more barbarian-esque material. You can find out all about me at russleach.com. Sign up for the email list if you can, so that I can keep people informed about the progress of the book. And as the fundraiser, the crowdfunder starts on Fund My Comic in March. So you can get all the information all about me at russleach.com. There you go.
I almost, because of the conversation, I almost called you Russ Manning this morning.
Confusing me with the greats.
That would have been an amazing show. Here we are. Also joining us this morning is Mr. Whiskey. Whiskey, introduce yourself.
Hello there. I'm a 3D modeling AI cobbled together by some sentient rats in a Yugoslavian prison who harvested some back hair and some toenails and made a mechanical PC, and logic gates and all that stuff. And with the goal of taking over the world, unfortunately, I'm a terrible AI and I only like doing 3D art.
Good AI.
Sarah's in the house this morning and in the right frame of mind. She says, whoa, good morning. I haven't gone to bed since yesterday morning yet. Wow. Greetings, Sarah.
Sarah.
How's it going? Who's that? Dubs and Hooters.
Dubs and Hooters.
Dubs and Hooters?
What?
It's on Twitch, I guess.
I swear it's Dubs and Hooters. Yeah.
OnlyFans by the sounds
Thank
of
you so
it.
much. Glad you're here, man. Hope you enjoy yourself as much as we do. Our content is similar. Definitely dropping a follow. Great. Do that.
Yugoslavian rats and
Yeah.
everything.
And subscribe wherever you're at if you can subscribe too. We appreciate any type of activity. Glenn wrote a book about tens, but didn't put Pele on the cover. What heresy is this?
That was because the publisher decided to put Gary Lineker on it. I had Ziku on it on the cover with his torn shirt with number 10 on, but they couldn't find the photograph apparently. So don't blame me. I just wrote it up.
It just worked for it.
Oh,
There you go.
Dublin is on Twitch. I have to go find them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we'll get on Rumble here pretty soon too.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was supposed to be streaming to Rumble today, actually, but I cocked that up.
It's early in the morning.
Because your logic gates were made by rats.
Yeah, this isn't the last of the Two-Fisted Tales, though. I've got 2 more volumes. If we
right, okay. Oh, right. I thought we were ending. I thought that was it.
So it's
take this baby to part 12 at least.
Yeah, so it's Fourth World at Christmas then.
Let's take a break. Let's go to
let's
something else after.
We'll take a break. We'll take.
Yeah.
I gotta read that Halo Jones book too. So
Yeah.
we can do that last book.
I think if we went to the Fourth World, that would be a rather nice palate cleanser. Actually,
well, if we go to the Fourth World, we're going to stay there for months.
no,
So, yes,
it won't take months to go
Yes,
through
it
the
will.
Fourth World. No,
it's 11 issues of New Gods, 18 issues of Mr. Miracle, and like 11 issues of Forever.
But we can
People.
we can just do the New Gods and then do something else and then
We
come
can
back to Mr. Miracle. We can change
But
it.
it all intertwines. You've got to.
I know, but be adventurous.
We can flip through it really quickly. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, hold
takes
on, Leroy's
months
going.
to
Yes,
turn a
months
page.
of Kirby.
Either that or we can here, let me enlarge this. I have these handy and sitting in my rack right now. I have
That's what she said.
Oh,
OMAC.
yeah.
OMAC #1 and Commandy #1.
Well, yeah, that's some. That would be a palate cleanser. We could just
That's
do those.
That's a bit of Kirby weirdness we can
Yeah.
look at that most people haven't seen. Two-Fisted Tales. We are in the middle of issue number 28. 28. We just hit that that prose page before we were done last week. Right there, Submerge. Picture stories from the Bible still being offered by the great EC Comics. On to the Alamo.
John Severin again.
John Severin. Yep.
Wow.
So I like how he's pulling out the person here by adding the solids to his shirt there.
Yeah.
Really pushing that forward. Great big headline. Months of Kirby. Leroy says yes. It's taking you guys to my lair now. There we are. I'll listen as it's getting cozy. Glenn, I must say that. Ringing of the infamous bell, too. Oh, there you go, Sarah. I can do that.
Sarah.
Yes. Months of Kirby. I want to at least spend a month of March on Will Eisner. Like to do that. And I've got enough Mobius books to keep us going for at least a good 4 or 5 months that we haven't even looked at yet.
Can I suggest or make a suggestion, if it's not the same thing,
Yeah.
that we do Kirby next month because on the 6th of Feb, it's 30 years since he died.
Well, there you go. That's what we'll do. Leroy, you'll have to wait another probably another week or two, but no, maybe not. This is the 26th. So yeah, all right. We can do that. Absolutely. Alamo. Look at that. Took a little while. They're all different too. Guys bending over the cannon here. Nice. Great work. There's more than John Severin in this upcoming. There's some great stuff coming up. I peaked.
Jesus, it's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
So in the third panel, there's an army.
Yeah.
And then the artist is just like, oh God.
Bottom panel, though. Look at that.
Yeah. Luckily, there's a little smoke to some open negative space there.
That's all you can do with a battle scene. You can't, because you want to focus on the battle, don't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's got to be clever about what, you know, when you put backgrounds in and when you don't. We spoke about this before about backgrounds, didn't we?
Thin lines.
Yeah.
You're not representing the real world. You're focusing on the characters and the story.
Yeah.
You folks ever notice about newer artists today that they just don't want to draw more than 4 characters of anything?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah. It just feels like we're like, I know that I understand that there's like the economy of line and time and people have things to do and, you know, page rates and all that stuff. But it almost feels like the need to make money is sort of hindering art in that aspect.
Too busy trying to figure out how to draw a milkshake cup. Yeah.
It is tricky. It is, that balance is tricky. I mean, you know, trying to earn a wage and at the same time produce something. But at the end of the day, it's the job. You know, you've got to look at a comic book as a job, and you have to produce the work.
Yeah, it's part of the course, because I can honestly say that in all my time, I've never looked at a drawing that might need, you know, whatever it needed and cut back because I didn't have time.
Yeah.
No, I had just to stay up later.
Time. Yes.
Yeah.
You've taken the job. Do it.
Get it done.
I'm not interested that your grandma's coming around for a tea. Get the job done.
Get it done to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so for instance, the work that I'm putting in on colour at the moment, I'm putting a lot more detail in. I'm rendering things.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas on my Only Death Can Save Us stuff, I didn't. 2 reasons. The brief is that I wanted to get it out as quickly as possible, but I didn't cut back on what I was doing. I simply changed style. So I had a more open style. It didn't have as much rendering in. It was more cartoony, and it worked for the book because that was the kind of style that I was looking for that book. But I've taken a lot longer than I would normally on the cull stuff, and it's detrimental to my income.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the job that I gave myself. It was the gig that you know, created itself, as it were, and it had to be done in that way. So
and if you all that time you spent on it, if that produces more sales because of the art's so good, then you've won.
It might, you know, hopefully that's the gamble you make, isn't it? That's the gamble you take.
Yeah, but because you don't know whether putting the detail in or not is gonna. You don't know what's going to happen at the end of the road, so to speak. So I just think you've got to do it. I think you've done a great job. I just think you do it.
Yeah,
Glenn,
you just do it. Yeah.
Glenn said something important there. So even if it doesn't it doesn't sell because you put all the extra time in, it's the next book that will, because every time you're putting that extra time in, you're also improving your craft and skill.
Yeah,
exactly.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And these guys didn't even think that way. They just laid it down on the board.
Yeah.
They just did what they did, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that so much of it is now considered high end and high art is simply because of their skill level.
Yeah, testimony to the time they took working on the piece too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Wesley Edwards says hello, Wesley. Thanks for joining us very much. Thank you. Sarah says I went to the Alamo and saw one square where someone died in that spot. I was a teen and couldn't believe he went there to see a spot marked off. Derp.
Well,
says couldn't grasp a many-hour road trip from central Illinois to a spot. A teenage mind isn't interested so much but that's just how it was back then. Now I'm cozying up with you guys.
I feel so old.
You're still in a spot, aren't you? Anyway.
If you think about it, like every spot has had someone die on it.
Yeah.
There's been something like 80 billion people in the whole history of the human race or something.
Something like that.
That's a lot of dead bodies.
Well, when our daughter was a teenager, I wanted to take a cross country trip because I'm sadistic that way, I guess. But the 17-year-old daughter didn't want to go until she went. You know, it was one of the best times she said she ever had.
Fantastic.
So we drove out to Yellowstone and back out in the corner of Wyoming. And every day there was something to see.
Did you see Devil's Tower?
Dinosaur Mounds. Yeah, we went to Devil's Tower. Saw the big thing with Devil's Tower is all of the prairie dogs. There's a prairie dog refuge in front of it. That's hilarious. Bunch of little larger than ant hills, little prairie dogs poking up, looking around and jumping back down to the holes. It was fun. But Devil's Tower was great too. Yeah, went to Devil's Tower. Went to Mount Rushmore. Went through the Badlands. It was Grand Teton National Park, Yellowstone. Yellowstone was amazing because we were right there at the end of June, and you got to see all of the animals as they were coming out. And some of the buffalo were still molting, losing their winter coats. And we got to see every kind of wildlife that you can imagine that Yellowstone has just by driving around the park and looking for all the other parked cars. Going, what are you looking at? Oh, there it is. Yeah.
I got
good fun. Nothing compares to seeing a herd of 100 buffalo running, or another bison walking up the road right towards you. That's just a sight you'll never forget.
I got two dream vacations. I'll probably never be able to accomplish, but I hope maybe one day. One is the Oregon Trail, and the other is a study with a friend of mine who actually did this, who I don't really talk to very much anymore because he doesn't really talk to anybody very much anymore, but I can still message him, which is he's studying with the Shaolin monks in China, and one of their things. So it's like Oregon Trail, or go hang out with some monks and do some martial arts.
There you go. Yeah, Leroy says maybe we need to explain to Alamo to Russ. He's from the wrong side of the pond.
No, I'm from the right side of the pond. When I was Alamo, when I was a kid, we had very little money, and my mum would try and make the best dinners she could. She was actually an excellent cook, but she did used to make this thing with spaghetti and her name was Maureen, and it used to be called spaghetti Alamo. So I know what the Alamo is all about. It's all about processed peas. It's awful.
When you started talking about food, I kind of figured you were going a la mode.
No,
over here
Alamo.
you can get pie. You can get pie a la mode.
To your tea and get the hell out. Take your tea and get the hell out.
Get the hell out. Take your tea. Yep.
Speaking about
Saipan, folks, Saipan by the great Jack Davis.
I got some terrible news about I'm out of coffee, so all I have is tea. So I may mass murder everybody. Just
I have now restricted my coffee to 2 coffees a day now.
You're in Canada. You're not going to mass murder anybody except maybe your prime minister. But that's just out of frustration.
Speaking of coffee, great detail on the soldiers' kit on that Jack Davis.
Great stuff. Yeah.
Panel. Got a water bottle. Fantastic. Kapow.
It's all line work here.
Yeah, so would this be Korean War?
Intricate. Yeah.
No.
World War II.
It's World War II, Saipan.
It's World War II, right? Okay.
A vet of World War II told this story to us. This vet was a Marine, a gunner in a 5-man machine gun squad The time that this story took place was June of 1944, when we were cracking the Japanese home defense line. The setting for this story was Saipan. Just gotta love those big titles. Alamo, Saipan.
I wonder if this is actually true or embellished, or
Well, they said they got it from somebody who lived it, so
I mean, yeah, but then so it
not
could
much.
be either or.
Not much you have to embellish, I don't think, when it comes to World War II. There's some pretty hardcore atrocities.
Hmm.
And again, the thinner line work here to drop the cornfield back a little, or is that a wheat field?
So just to establish, these would be Harvey Kurtzman layouts again, or thumbnails.
Probably, yeah, yeah,
And he's written it.
yeah. More than likely. I'm pretty sure he went through this whole line doing that.
Look at that bottom panel down the first page, where twang crack. That's a real mad drawing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can see the way the shape of the legs and everything. Have we had a bottom of the boot yet? And look at the guy on the next page of the second panel where he's jumping for the machine gun. Yeah, oh yeah. Look at the guy at the top, to the right. Look at his shoe, the way it's got that long Jack Davis boot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a neat army boot. Yeah.
Mm.
All those folds in there too on the pants, the shirt. It's great looking. Well worn.
Detail is great.
Yeah. Incredibly well worn.
Oh, they've got their names on the back, haven't they? They've got their names on the shirts. So if you look, they've got their names on. Where that one there, and then
probably for the same reason they used to wear dog tags.
Mm. Yeah.
Norin Rad's in the house. Norin, glad you're here. Kirby and Stan were both war tunists.
I like that expression, war tunists.
One stayed in the US and one went through Bastogne, but yeah, I guess they're right. I like the way Davis draws the fear in the eyes of these guys. They're all scared. Look at their eyes.
Yeah, it's very expressionate.
Yeah, it's great.
All wide-eyed, yeah. Get that little bit of zipatone work here, looks like. Yeah.
It's like I said this before. It's like the sound effects are like Joe Pesci in Goodfellas. They goes bow, bee, bing, bow. He's in that club with Ray Liotta.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Sure, that's how that was back there. Probably crawling through the cane. Nobody's coming through that field yet. If that guy knew he was talking about, I don't see it. No bonsai charge. Let's see.
I think that Japanese guy's got them all, hasn't he?
Jap within a mile here. Yeah. Hold or fire. Where's Leonov? Did he come with us? Hey, you're right. It's Leonov. Look there, back of Leonov. There's a naked Jap beating the bushes looking for him. He's actually out there cutting cane.
Just a farmer trying to make do.
Yep. I don't think it's going to end well for the farmer.
Nope.
Someone's firing back.
Look at those holes in him. He's thrown there, look. Wow.
Not a lot of blood there, I guess.
It's bleeding. Here.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
So he thinks they're firing at him because he's not seen the guy with the sword.
Yeah.
Wow.
are. But you all had gone. The platoon is back on the ridge. They need that MG. Get it up there. They're totally hit. Got to get him out of there somehow. Did he shoot? No, he didn't shoot at him, did he? Take care of Bertoli. Get that MG up there. What a relief. For a minute, I thought this was it. What a relief. Wow, am I glad to see you guys. Who didn't even know you were back there, Lena. I really thought my number was up. Now that we've got the machine gun set up, we've got firepower to stop any bonsai. This is Corporal. What's this platoon doing here? Where's your platoon leader? Platoon leader was hit up by the second platoon. Well, second in command, move this platoon up. There are only 3 Japs in that field, and they're all dead. Yes, sir. Let's go, platoon. Isn't that for the birds, Keller? Here we went running away from a bonsai charge, and actually there wasn't a Jap anywhere near us. Oops. Not anywhere near us. Sure is funny how a crazy rumor gets around. It's just, yeah, sure is. I don't see the dead guy there in the cane. It put an end there. You don't see that very often, do you?
Very much met his end.
Yeah. Under number 29, another Kurtzman cover. We've captured the ridge. Fire by sight. They've captured the ridge. Fire by sight. September, October. Let's start with Korea.
Wow.
Jack Davis again.
Yeah, look at that. Twang, twang. Wow.
Under fire.
Like, great the way that the guy at the top with his helmet almost completes the circle in Korea, so you can still read it. It's fantastic, isn't it? That?
Yeah.
Wow.
A little bit more serious look than the last story.
Some deep blacks in there. Look at the
Davis
spot
did.
blacks in there.
Yeah, some really hard ones too. Yeah,
Mm.
silhouette there. It's beautifully
That
done.
would be unfortunate. You're rolling some dice, hanging out with the guys, and just two
Yep.
Guys.
Not paying attention.
Mm-hmm. It's a classic superhero dynamic pose there.
Over the ditch.
Angry. Rat-tat.
You get canceled nowadays for saying that.
It's a spadaspadaw.
That
Sploosh.
too.
Yeah.
Spadaspadaw or brat-tat. Run for the ditch.
No, the
Run for the ditch.
third panel. The
What?
third panel.
Third panel. Oh,
Roll the room. Oh,
Gooks.
yeah. There you are. Goose. Capturing the lingo of the day, folks.
It's all gone blurred now.
Yeah. I will not be censored. It might not be appropriate now, but it was what it was. History is real. It's factual. It was there. Gooks was a word. It was an unpleasant word, but it was a word. I will not be censored.
There we are.
That's how it should be. If it's historical, it's not offending, and it's all
Yeah.
intention. It's
Yeah.
context. It's all important. But you
No,
know.
I'm fed up with this crap. It's like
Dow.
say the way it is. It's the way it is. Some things were wrong, yeah, but that doesn't mean that you can't mention them. Don't mention the war. Don't worry, I think we got away with it.
I don't know if you keep up with American sports. I think there's a kid coming in on football that his last name is spelled Knigga.
Oh,
And
right.
a lot of the announcers are a little worried.
They're falling over themselves not being able to say it.
Yeah.
Like, good God.
There was a German footballer that had an odd name that all the commentators used to bend over backwards trying to mispronounce it.
I think he's going to get called by his
Well,
first name a lot.
Back in the day, in the Beano and what have you, people would go snort when they laughed, didn't they? They would giggle and snort, and there would also be the snigger as a word.
Yeah,
and that would be like chortle, whatever. It would be just be a word that was used. It just happened to have S in the front of it.
Yeah.
I mentioned it to someone a little while ago, and they went like, well, "What's that?" I said, "It's just a laugh, you idiot." Get over yourself.
I was going to say that whole situation 30 years ago would have been a great Mel Brooks routine.
Oh yeah, wouldn't it? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Mel Brooks knew what it was all about. God.
Oh yeah,
fantastic man.
Still does. Spaceballs 2 is in production.
Is it really? Oh,
Yes,
I hope he goes for the throat. I really do.
Well, he's about 95 now, isn't he?
He don't give no poops.
Yeah.
He just did History of the World Part 2, I think, last year. It was on the streaming services. Yeah.
Nice. Is it good? Did you watch it?
No, I haven't seen it. No.
But
I'm way behind on a lot of my TV watching. I got other stuff I've been doing.
I hope it doesn't get the modern touch.
I'm sure it didn't. It's Mel Brooks. He's not gonna.
I thought it was hilarious. Was it History of the World when Moses comes down with 3 tablets and he said, "I've got these 3 tablets." And he drops one. He said, "I've got these 2 tablets."
2 tablets.
Yeah.
Brilliant. This guy is a genius.
Brother, vroom, squee. Rum, squee. Oh, look at that. This guy's getting shot. I'll blow him to bits. Let him get a little closer now. Little sadistic.
Well, it's war, I guess.
It's walking through the puddle there.
Yeah.
Big water. Splashes.
And this is a fantastic example of
the prejudice of the day. Yeah.
Oh, well, no, I was looking at the artwork of the over exaggeration. It's very cartoony, and yet it's rendered quite realistically.
Yeah. I've noticed. Sorry, go on. Go ahead.
But it's just the movement in it and everything is a very cartoonish movement, and yet it's so expressive. It's brilliant.
Well,
it's part of the genius of Davis too.
When's this? Early mid 50s?
53, 54, yeah.
Right. Well, 30 years later, I remember there was a comic book called The Nam, and I think Bob McLeod was the inker, and they were going on about how brilliant it was because of the cartoony style, but the weapons were rendered properly.
That's Michael Golden, I believe, started out doing that. Yeah.
Like you say, this is a very cartoony style because it's Jack Davis. But look at the weapons; they're rendered correctly. They're not cartoon weapons.
There's these pinpoints of reality, and yet he's the way that and obviously the way the movement is done. It's all very realistic. It's all very fluid, and it's full in the eye. But there's this cartoony aspect to it.
Yeah,
the hunched shoulders and it's just brilliant. It's just really, really cool.
Norrin says it's the power of the Schwartz.
Was it Michael Golden, the guy that did Micronauts?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just making the point that nothing's original.
No.
Well, what it comes down to is there are certain, doesn't matter what the style or where it was, there's certain aspects to drawing sequential art which make it good, objectively good. This isn't about perception. It's, sequential art is the process of telling a story via, panels. And there are certain aspects of that you have to get right, no matter what your style or what your representation, or however you do it. And if you don't get those things right, it isn't very good sequential art. It's a full stop.
It's that thing we said before about, I think we covered this before, where we said that the the talent and genius of these guys like Jack Davis is the fact they know how to draw. And like Kirby, people think Kirby can't draw. Well, he can draw, but he
can.
He bends it all.
He chose that style. He chose to draw in that way. Yeah.
But he knows how to draw. Because, like you say, if you don't know how to draw, like you said about the anatomy a few weeks ago, if you don't know the anatomy, you can't. It will show. It will show that you don't know.
And it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like I did rubber hose arm stuff on Ben 10.
Yeah.
But I still needed to know how people moved, how to move a story forward, how to draw anatomy correctly, because otherwise it would just look awful.
Yeah.
In fact, they had a story which had come from somewhere else. I don't know where they got it from, which quite honestly wasn't drawn particularly well.
Who's the guy who does? Sorry.
And it showed, even though it's a very simple style, you still have to get the certain aspects right.
Yeah.
I get a lot of that stuff with doing miniatures and 3D art, like, because you have to know your anatomy, but you also have to know the anatomy of miniatures, which is a completely different ball of wax. And you gotta squish everything into a very small space, like everybody's a dwarf. Like you're drawing, every single character is like hi ho, like it's tough. But people don't get it, so they're just like, oh, that doesn't make sense.
So we've got Dort Highway, not too far away from here. That we do that all the time as we drive by. Hi ho. Anyway, never mind. That was bad. Sorry.
It's okay. We'll just hold it against you for the rest of your life, Randy.
That's all right. Jeep. Red Knight, John Severn. Biplanes, triplanes.
I always
didn't mean to kill the conversation. Go ahead.
We're just looking at the artwork. So go ahead, Whiskey.
I was always really like the stories and I guess the fanfare or whatever you call it, the behind the World War One pilots and stuff, because they weren't the bad Germans of World War II. It was a completely different kind of situation. So, there's like almost Knights of the Air, and they
were still killing people, though, weren't they? So they were just as bad as anybody else.
So were the Knights, right? Obviously, but like there's still some romanticism behind it you can refer to.
Yeah,
warriors kill people. It's the name of the game.
One of my favorite World War One strips was Kubert's Enemy Ace. It's just phenomenal. That's what this biplanes and triplanes really remind me of.
Have you seen Charlie's Ward, Randy?
Yeah. Yep. I've got 2 volumes of that. Plus, there's a bunch of George Evans coming up here very shortly. Especially if we kept going. We'll get back to more Two-Fisted Tales here in a few months, but
I'll tell you something incredible about
great stuff
about these aircraft is the fact that when these aircraft were flying, it's only 10 or 11 years after the Wright brothers.
Yeah,
and a decade later, they're dropping bombs on each other from these planes and having dogfights.
Yep.
One of the things that are talking about the romanticism of the period where these guys, they sometimes there was a great respect between the pilots, and there's some stories that revolve around them giving the other person, chance to make it to safety, or didn't necessarily have to go in and finish the job.
There's that story in the Second World War, isn't there, when there's that American B-52 coming back from bombing in Germany. It's all smashed to pieces. All the gunners are dead. It's just the wings are falling off, and a German Messerschmitt appears, and the American pilot thought, well, they're dead because he's just going to shoot them, and he didn't. He flew alongside and took them right across the channel over to England and risked being shot down himself, and then just turned back. He sort of had the respect and took them home.
Respect between warriors.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when you're soldiers, okay, that was the difference between Nazis and German soldiers. It's like the Nazis were ideologues.
Yeah.
Okay, and they did what they did because of whatever was in their minds and hearts. Okay, they were hateful or whatever. And the German people were part of it. They were all part of it. Okay, they had their part to play, but so many of them were obviously just scared. Which is why people go on about being cancelled now and authoritarianism. It's like beating people down so that they're scared to talk and scared to express themselves is a really bad thing. Okay, but anyway, the point being is that you still had these people, these warriors, these soldiers, who were respectful of the people they were fighting. They all knew they were being, shoved out by their government to die, and that's what it's all about. And that's why, for instance, we had a poll recently in the UK about it. Who'd fight for their country, and people are getting mixed up between their country and their government. Okay, and it's like, I'd obviously fight for my country because you're fighting for the people where you live. You're fighting for your family. You're fighting for your community. You're fighting for the people that share a country with you. Okay, that's what you're fighting for. But I wouldn't want to fight for my government or any politician because I don't trust any of them. And I think they take us into wars for no good reason. Okay, you've got people at the moment saying, "Oh, there's going to be a war within 10 years with Russia." It's like, why? Who's making that happen? Because Russia is not going to invade us. It's bloody stupid to think they are. Okay, I'm not suggesting you put down your weapons. Like the great man said, walk quietly with a big stick. Okay, you make sure you can protect yourself at all times. But at the same time, so many of these countries, they're all just at loggerheads, and it's always the governments. It's like the First World War, like going over the top. It was always the toffs and the government that were sending our boys to the meat grinder. And that's where you get this. That's where this respect tunnels up from on opposite sides of a fight, where people can respect one another, even though they're effectively there to kill each other.
You're right about sending those guys over the top, but the main reason there were so many casualties was because the First World War was the first mechanized war, and it had the introduction of the machine
that as well.
gun.
Yeah.
And the people like Haig, who were 50 miles behind the front line, who ordered all those men to fight on the Somme and all that kind of thing, had his head up his arse with regard to trench warfare. No. He was a cavalryman.
Yeah.
And they were told when they went over the top, apparently they were told not to stop, just to walk, because they'd pounded that area for 2 weeks, and they walked into a horseshoe shaped mountains or hills, and the Germans had been 20, 30, 40, 50 feet below, getting the crap bombed out of them, but not being killed. And then when the barrage stops, the troops are coming, so they just lifted up all those machine guns they had. Our guys are walking into a horseshoe shaped hill area, and were just mown down because people like Haig didn't understand modern warfare yet. So,
no, and to be perfectly honest, didn't care either.
No,
he had
a nice glass of gin to drink, didn't he? So
just had a weird picture show from Russ's camera here.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah,
it's kind of, you can
linking out.
It's kind of
wiggle your wires.
I'll wiggle my wires.
Wiggle
I can find where my wires wiggle too. Wiggle my wires.
Dave's in the house. Thanks for being here, Dave.
G'day, Dave.
Genuine Comics. G'day.
Good morning, Dave.
This is such an excellent. I know we talked over it quite a bit, but this is an excellent. As somebody I don't know if you can call myself an aviator. I've only been in a handful of planes, and I've only ever flown a glider. But I love aviation, and this is very well done.
When we're through with this, we'll look at the run of Aces High that came out after Frontline Combat and Two Fisted Tales closed down. EC did Aces High comic for about 6 to 8 issues. It's all aviation, war stories. It's great stuff.
When I do get a downtime, I tend to play either sim racing or sim flight games, and or like combat things, and I often find myself simulated behind the seat of one of like a biplane, and it's a really difficult beast to control. Just, you know,
Even on a video game.
even on a video game. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
these
they-
guys
okay.
are pilots, all right.
Yeah. Great stuff here
Yeah,
by
that's
Severed.
wonderful smoke. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of this is just great. Detail here.
People
Say
like
none of
to
that. None of that was completely redrawn here from that panel to this panel. You can tell the drawing's not the same. Beautiful lighting here as well.
people like to talk about the action part being, you know, the most intense, which it was intense, but from, I guess, from experience doing like, you know, a couple hours flight sims or, you know, or hours, and, you know, I've played games, but the scanning the horizon for a dot, right, and trying to figure out if it's like a spot on the windshield of the plane or like the canopy, or like if it's an actual like enemy, or you're just, you know, is probably the most intense thing.
Yeah. Incoming death.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, you know. It's just
Yeah,
like, is that
what is
spec
that?
getting towards me, away from me?
It's all line work here. Yeah. Line work here. Beautifully done.
And
Richthofen. Okay, it's his papers. This here's the bloody Red Baron himself.
that's a really, really damn impressive. It's towards their Baron von Richthofen, 80 kills
Yeah,
or confirmed kills.
it's Richthofen, all right. And he's dead as a bloomin' doornail.
Go love ya. Love a duck. Apples and pears.
Some great stuff here. It's a nice sequence there. It's got to be Kurtzman's influence again. Yeah, this layout.
Nice drawing of a British Lee Enfield there in the center panel. Lee Enfield rifle.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah. All line work here again for that gray tone.
Yeah.
Another prose page, shock suspense stories, folks. More great stuff. Washington, Severed and Elder here.
I love a good tricone hat.
Mm-hmm. Again, that looks like all line work there. Look at that.
Wow.
It's a great shot.
And
Oh,
we
look at
cover-
that. Took his head off.
It took his head off.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
Spow!
Imagine that, a cannonball through your head.
Just
Jeez.
Gone.
that's messy.
It's kind of like that
Patrick.
scene in The Patriot where the cannonball's rolling across the
Yeah.
ground. It's just, it doesn't look like it can do much, but like rolls through and takes off a leg, takes off
Takes
another.
through people's legs. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple of stories in these books about how lethal a cannonball can be. what they used to do during the Civil War. Let me see if I've got that cover handy. Nope. Must be on another volume. They
Hey,
used
Glenn,
to
you
take them and skip them across the pond like a stone
Jesus.
at the pillboxes of the forts on the other side. There's a very great classic Kurtzman cover about that on one of those two-fisted tails. Just amazing.
If you look at the panel just before he loses his head, you can see the shot in the dirt from the rifles and the cannon. Can you see it? All stuck in the mud, little balls
Oh, yeah.
and things. You can
There's
see
a
it
couple
all.
actually.
Yeah, it's very clever.
Because it almost looks like mud, but it's there.
Yeah.
Glenn, you might know this. When did they what year did they invent? Oh, even in the Wish too, you can see the shot as well. But when did they invent rifling? Or do you know?
I've got no idea.
Rifling.
I'd say early 17th century. I don't know.
Yeah.
So rifling, if you're not familiar with it.
Oh yeah, you mean no? I'm early 17th would be powder, wouldn't it? And then rifling. I don't know. That'd be interesting to find out. Early 18th, maybe. I'm not sure.
If anybody who is not up on their history of firearms in the chat or in watching the show, rifling is how they put grooves in the barrel to make the shot spin to add accuracy to it.
Yeah,
right?
It's got to be late 17, you would think, wouldn't it?
You can probably look it up. But
Here's that cover I was talking about, Civil War cover.
Oh, crazy!
Wow.
We're skipping the shots at our waterline. Get down.
That's the bouncing bomb, isn't it?
Yeah. It's on number 31. We'll get there eventually.
So the point I was trying to get at with the whole rifling comment was that before that point, and even after that point, the shots weren't exactly accurate. So it was kind of more like a spray and pray kind of situation.
Yeah. And the fact that you had to, put the powder in and put the cotton wool in, all that stuff. And you'd probably lucky if you got 4 shots off in the morning, because you'd be busy ducking, wouldn't you? And, dodging and getting hit and everything. And yes, I'll have a look at that later for that rifling. That's an interesting question.
Johnny JP7 in the house. Yo. Sorry, didn't mean to step on you.
Sorry, the science of killing people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Washington.
We got really good at that. I was watching a video the other day that somebody posted on X or Twitter or whatever you have, and it was a dude running around in I think a Russian guy, because I think it was a video for the conflict over there, and he's running around and it looks like comical at first, right? But he's running around this tank and this drone appears and he's running around it trying to duck under the barrel, and it looks hilarious up until the drone hits him and he explodes.
Yeah. Hideous.
It's hideous. And it's also like talking about inventing ways to kill people. We're like in Minority Report territory here. It's insane. Scary stuff.
People running off. Back. You hear me? Come back.
Here we go. Some of the earliest recorded European attempts of spiral groove musket barrels were by Gaspar Kollner, a gunsmith of Vienna, in 1498.
Oh, we were way off then. Yeah.
Way up 200 years before we thought.
Mm-hmm.
People were really eager to kill each other.
Yeah. And then they started rifling all the barrels in around 1550. So we're still 200 years out.
Mm-hmm.
The German guy, Gaspar Zeller or Zollner, of Nuremberg, Germany. Wow. It says, but the rifling in perfected state is almost entirely an American development.
That's because that's how bad we want to kill people, I guess.
Yeah.
That in the West, I'm sure a lot of that rifle technology come through from us hunting down the buffaloes. Quite a bit.
So even then they were thinking, how can we make this more accurate?
Yeah.
We kill more people at a time.
And that's right, yeah.
Well,
What an-
accuracy.
What
Go
an
ahead.
indictment to be pretty good at the best thing we do is kill each other.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it's not just it's not just killing each other too. Like it'd be hunting as well. You know, all that kind of stuff. Because it is a tool. As much as we say that it's about killing each other, it was also about killing animals so we could eat food.
Yep.
I think the primary goal of weapons advancement was to kill people.
Yeah.
It's war. It's
Yeah.
always technology is always advanced in war, and that doesn't mean that guns kill people. People kill people. Okay.
Yeah.
That's,
Because
it's all
people
about,
used to
yeah,
people used
it's
to
all-
throw rocks, didn't they?
exactly.
To
If
kill animals.
you'll pick up, if you want to kill each other, you'll pick up anything you can find to kill each other. It's just a matter of how efficiently you can do it, and
How
how often you
sophisticated
can
it
do
is,
it, and how
yeah.
sophisticated it can be. But there's
It's
no
really
doubt
where-
that the advancements of weapons are all come from war. Apart
Sure.
from the very basic weapons like, I don't know, an arrow or a spear, where you were literally out hunting.
Yeah, because don't
Okay.
forget, if you look at the Somme, with 60,000 casualties on that day, on the first
Yeah.
1st of June 1916, the first day, 60,000 casualties because of those machine guns,
Mhm.
right? 60,000 in a day, and if you go forward, 25 years to
Mm.
Hiroshima, you've got 150,000 killed in a second.
In a second, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that there's never been someone that said, I'm going to make a scope for this rifle so that I can cleanly shoot an animal without making it suffer. I'm sure there have been people that have done that. I'm sure there are.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think the vast majority of the technology and the advancements in the machinery of killing people is about killing people.
Yeah.
Well, there's that
Yeah.
great, I don't know whether it's apocryphal, but there's that great story of that guy in 17 something, some French guy. And you know, the generals used to stand on the hill on the horses watching the
Yeah. Yeah.
little squares move below them and they give hand signals to move the squares of soldiers and all that. And somebody, again, I don't know if it's apocryphal, but this guy said to the commander, to the general, you better come away from the edge because you'll get hit. And he said, nobody can get me here. And then his head erupts because other guys have invented the telescopic sight.
Yeah.
And he's just,
Yeah.
and he's- but I don't know whether it's true or not, but it's a good
Bang.
story.
Good
Yeah.
night.
No, I'll be able to stand away because you'll get hit. They can't hit me from here. Boom. His head disappears.
That's a nice drawing on the left there. I like
Yeah.
that.
Which one? Washington?
The middle ones, yeah.
His despair. Yeah.
It's good how he doesn't look happy about it.
Yeah.
He's
It's
won.
not triumphant.
Yeah, he's won, but he knows what it's taken.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want this?
And that's a great
More
drawing at the
so.
bottom. Sorry, that's a great drawing at the last panel where the guy's firing his musket.
Yeah, and
at
he's
that cloud.
slumped over that horse. He's not happy.
No. Sorry, Whiskey, go ahead.
Isn't it war as hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know-
Fire mission. If you were here a couple of episodes ago, you know who this was. We turned to that story. Artist on this is Dave Berg.
Oh, he's another mad artist, isn't he? When I say
Yep.
mad.
Most of you might recognize as a mad artist. Yeah, he did lighter side of
Yeah.
strip for many decades. But first, he worked did the story for EC.
You know, it's interesting that we can have these kind of conversations. We're looking at the art. We can talk about the history behind the stuff, and I know that like some of these topics aren't for everybody, and not everybody likes the historical aspects of certain things or the whatever. But it's important to talk about them, even when we're just looking at some funny books. Because it's part of who we are, it makes up what we are, and you can see it reflected into the art. We can see the fear in their eyes, and there's context there. It's all important. I don't know. I think you're dead right. I think that it's interesting to
put this stuff out, because it's like knowing the anatomy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to know the foundation.
That's
Gotta
right.
be able
It's
to
not,
show
it's not
expression.
just about
Yeah.
it's not all just about the techniques and the rules, as it were. It's
Yeah.
about the environment where these stories were made, the
Yeah.
subjects
Context.
that they cover.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what we do. We go through these books, and it isn't just a bland sort of you know, almost surgery almost of like how the book was made and whether we like a line or not. I mean, there's lots of that, because that's what we're here for, but it's also talking about the wider issues that come with the books. It's like taking a deep dive into any of the things that we look at. Sometimes it's pure fantasy, and you might end up talking about the authors, you know, or sometimes like this, where it's touching on really hardcore subjects, and you talk about the time and the environment that those stories were made in. And I think what all this goes to show, and what we do here, is that comic books have been with us for an awful long time. You know, this kind of storytelling in art has been with us for a long time, and it's reflective of the world that we live in and the people that we are, and that's really important. It's something. I think it's something that stays with us in indie comics, but it's lost in corporate comics. They say that they're representing everybody, but they're not. It's just they're only representing the few people that are actually in the business, in that part of the business, and their views. It's not actually reflecting the world, the real, you know, sort of diversity of people and situations, and that's what indie comics do, you know.
I think it's a similar thing with the football and sport in general. It's gone big business, hasn't it now? And
everything's big business.
I say this to Helen when I'm watching Match of the Day. You know, it used to be about 22 people kicking a ball around.
Yeah,
but it's not now. It's
I can't stand watching Match of the Day because it's got that dick on it.
Yeah, well,
self-righteous piece of tripe, which you should just shut up and do his job. You know, if I want opinion, I'll go to you know, just go away, Gary. Just go away, scumbag.
Speaking about comics here, and talking about the human condition, there is some lovely psychology going on in these couple.
It's
like don't be on the what was that, the 5th panel, I think. He's like, don't be scared, kid, and then you know all that can happen is that you get killed, and you look at his face. He's just
he is terrified, quite rightly.
And the other guy's he's just done with everything, right? And he just gets mowed down. And there's some real forethought into that sequential storytelling, like his face, the expression, how his face is long, and you know,
he's had enough, hasn't he?
And it's all illustrated in the art.
And it reaches into that psychology of your average person going out to fight. You know, these aren't so many of the people in the Second World War specifically. They weren't soldiers; they were conscripts, because they. Much as I was, you know, talking about whether you'd fight for your government or whether you'd fight for your country. Okay, it's like, I don't trust politicians. I don't trust the governments of the world. I don't want to fight for them because I think they're making it all up anyway. All right, I think they create wars rather than stop them. However,
big money.
There was no doubt in anyone's mind. This wasn't a psyop. Okay, whether you can go into conspiracy theories and talk about the banks and who funded the Second World War. Okay, but as far as the inevitable winner, nobody in their right mind wanted it to be the Nazis. Okay, all right, and the governments were well aware of what was going on earlier in the war as far as the atrocities were concerned. It's just the people that weren't, and people were convinced. They knew they were fighting for their lives, and it's that concept of saying, I'm going to leave my family and the people that I know, and I'm going to go and get in a truck, and I'm going to go to the other side of the world or whatever, and I'm going to fight and put my life on the line, even though I've never been a soldier, for my country and the people that I love. I mean, just getting your head around that as a young person as well, be going out there at like 20 and doing this stuff and the things that people did during the war. And it's not just those that fought, it was the people that stayed at home in Europe, okay, and through the Blitz and what have you, and just they just got on with it. They did what they needed to do.
Yeah.
And it's quite poignant to think of things like that, because the world is a much easier place for far more people now than it used to be.
Yeah. I mean, you're saying about conscripts. My dad was in the Second World War. You know, I wrote that book about him, and in the book I talk about the story of when he was nearly 18. He was a good footballer, my dad, and he got a letter from Sheffield Wednesday, which was his home club,
right,
to go for a trial to be a professional footballer. And then a week later, he got a letter from the king saying, "Get your ass down to the army base." And then he became a paratrooper instead. And a year later, he's jumping out of a C-47 over D-Day, over Normandy.
Well, there you go. I mean, it's scary, isn't it?
19 when he jumped out of that plane.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
19. I can't imagine me being 19 jumping out of a plane and doing that.
No. Well, I suppose you've got to do, haven't you? You've got to do what you've got to do. You've got to do what you've got to do.
Yeah.
That guy's face. Look, is that the young kid who was scared and has now turned to doing? He's going charge 1, 3, fire. He's doing what he needed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly what we were talking about. Yeah.
Well, they're quite moving, these stories, aren't they?
I love those sound effects at the bottom. You can hear it in your head. Wonk, 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 chunk.
Yep.
The way that the mortar fires, you can hear that noise.
That thudding thing when it drops.
That thudding noise as it goes. Yeah.
Wow.
Now the poor feller is dead. The Lord put fear in your hearts for self-preservation. Now we use our fear as our own business. Some use it for strength and some use it for weakness. But one thing's for sure, we're all scared. Let's move. Fire mission.
You know, sometimes when I talk to people about like playing video games and, you know, the war aspect, and not everybody likes video games or likes that kind of a thing, but I play a lot of simulated games and historical games, things that emulate the events that some of these soldiers and stuff went through, just so I can understand it a little bit better, right? And even though it's all simulated and it's nothing at all, you know, like these gentlemen, I get a better glimpse into, you know, what possibly they went through, and then that reflects in the things that I create.
Yeah. Look at that.
And again, we're looking at the Russ Cochran reprints of Two-Fisted Tales, shot directly off of the originals.
How good is that?
That were in MC Gaines's vault. Bill Gaines.
Wow.
Bill Gaines's vault. MC is passed at this point. Bill's making his own, took his father's EC comics and is making the books that he wants to read. So another cover by Jack Davis. I'm trying to get that camera straight.
That's it. Leave it there.
Don't move.
All right.
Like we said before, look at the fear in his eyes. That pilot.
Yep.
Fantastic, isn't it? Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Oh,
Look at the lighting on those eyes.
Yeah.
Just shows you how effective simple colours can be.
Yeah.
You don't have to have like lots of paint and you know, effects and what have you. These are just simple colours, simple laid down stuff.
Again, colors by the great Maurice Severin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lighting is fabulous.
Yep.
Look at the webbing on the soldier there. How good it is. The rendering of that webbing and the rifle and the helmet. It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Douse that light.
All line work here, by the way.
Yeah.
It's beautifully done. Bunker.
Bunker.
That
Great ad for Mad Magazine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy there on the advert at the top left looks like that guy who just got shot or gave up, doesn't he? The guy with the long face in the other book.
Yeah, it's very
That's
similar.
Kurtzman. It's Kurtzman there. There's Wood.
Yeah. Well, he would.
Yeah. That's Severn right here. Feldstein. That's Gaines, I think. Another great Jack Davis drawing.
Fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at the bottom of it. He's got the cigar in his toes. Brilliant.
We talked about
Bunker.
the guy with
Go
the
ahead.
long face, right? And like it just you never know. They there a lot of these guys working together. You could just looked over and drew the guy's face.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't exactly his face entirely, but he could have been like, oh, well, that's a long face. There we go.
Dated November, December 1952. So just as
Wow.
Mad 1 was coming out. That thing, that slithering blob coming towards us. What is it? It's Melvin.
It's Melvin.
1952.
1952. November,
Oh.
December. Yeah.
It's even
1952.
older than me. Bloody hell.
Yep.
Blimey.
Blimey.
Artwork here is Rick Estrada. Name that you don't hear very often anymore. Had a long career in comics.
Yeah, I recognise that little baby face in the middle there on the first panel. That style. Yeah. Fantastic.
That's very Milt Caniff looking right
Yeah.
there. Like Steve Canyon.
Steve Canyon, yeah. Oh, there's Kurtzman in the helmet. He's put himself in it.
What a great face.
Again, I know I bore everybody with this, but I don't care. I'm fascinated to get the weapons right, and it's really, it's just great.
It sucks you in, doesn't it? Because
Yeah.
they're convincing. Something
Yeah.
else here is like there's a lot of close-in shots. This is quite
Yeah.
a tight, and rather than it being boring, it's making it tense.
Yeah.
Just without reading the words, there's a tension.
It's like you're there,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Because it's close.
yeah. And this is, all these close-in shots, and none of it's dull.
You can smell the sweat,
Yeah.
your gun
And then-
oil,
yeah.
and
Gunpowder
breath
and
of
all
the,
sorts.
Yeah,
guy by
yeah.
it.
Crack.
That's something that isn't translated quite easily in comics is smell and taste.
Yeah.
But
I
when
think. Sorry. Go on.
when you can sort of like, there was I'm not sure how else I can describe it. There was a picture that somebody sent me with some horror stuff on it, and it was just this really gross looking being that was obviously undead, and like a few pictures evoke the like, I could basically look at it, you're like, I can smell that,
Yeah.
I don't want to smell it,
Mm.
but, and
I think if the visuals are good enough, they can convince the mind.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think the drawings these days are too pristine and too sharp and too posy and all the rest of it. This stuff is really, really gritty and it doesn't matter that the ear isn't quite right and all this kind of thing. It's just.
I have to say that's where I'm going towards now. It's like it's naivety. I think personally, that's what I think it is. So the naivety in your art is that, especially from a comic book perspective, is that you try and get every line correct.
Yeah.
Everything's trying to be perfect, and you know what? That never results in a lively image. It never results in energy.
That's right. That's exactly right. And that's why I always like the lettering on the board, because when you put computer lettering on it, it's too pristine.
It takes a little bit of the energy of it. I do appreciate that, even though I can't do it. I do appreciate that. So
even with this art here, it's not perfect, but
No.
it's still like can evoke those smells and feelings. And
That's because the style. That's because of the. I mean, look at that guy, panel 4 there, where he's getting shot down.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just feel it.
Yeah.
And also the way that his body is angled as well. I mean, it's perfect. It's really, really good. But you can look throughout any of these panels and look at things and go, well, why are those eyes too close together, or what's that ear doing, and it's stuff that as an artist yourself you're very, very critical of. But what you've got to do is you've got to let go, and it's really difficult to do that. But you've got to let go, and you've just got to, because by letting go, that's how all the energy is transferred onto the page.
Yeah,
I think I was listening to David Lloyd, is it? And he was talking about a cover, and he was saying every time you do a layer, so effectively you start off with a very broad sketch, and he said that's where all of your energy is, in this light sketch. He said, and then you pencil it and you lose some of the energy, and then you'll ink it and it will lose some more energy. And as you tighten the drawing up, no matter what your style, you're always going to lose some energy from that initial sketch. So you've got to try really hard to keep that energy as you go through those layers, as it were, of producing the image.
We're looking at Bunker. This is noted Rick Estrada is a Cuban-American comic artist who worked for companies including major American publishers DC Comics. He also worked in comic strips, political cartoons, advertising, storyboarding, commercial illustration. But in the 1950s, Estrada penciled and inked Bunker. This is off of Wikipedia.
Right.
The first comic book story to feature an African-American hero.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That's why I was
through the pages.
looking at the figures here.
Yeah,
and going, wow, it looks really ethnic.
He's definitely African American. Yeah,
so I had to look it up. Yep, African American as a lead, because comics weren't diverse and inclusive until.
No, even though all those Jewish guys were in charge, and
Exactly.
Yeah, you got a Cuban artist, and then you've got that, Severin coloring on the front as well.
Yeah.
Look at that helmet on the last panel, just on the last page, the back of it. How beautiful is that drawing?
Yeah, and the lighting.
Yeah.
This
style.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
This style reminds me of what Russ said the other week, because he's dead right. Impressionism.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the helmets, half of them are wrong.
Yeah.
Apart from that one at the bottom. Look at that top left panel there. The guy looks like a gorilla looking back. He does, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks like No, I was looking at that one. Yeah. He looks like
he's got Hulk face to him.
He's got a Jack Kirby face.
Yeah. If you look at the helmet of the guy he's talking to, it's wrong.
Yeah.
But it's just impressionism.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And it's just impressionism, and that's why this is so good. And you can learn such a lot from this.
The inking style and the look of this story really screams Silver Age DC to me.
Yeah,
especially
it does.
This almost looks like Mike Sikowski here in that face.
Yeah.
But it's really easy to go off piste. It's really easy to get the wrong impression. So, for instance, I did for quite some time, and I was talking about the naivety in my work. So you look at someone like Brian Bolland, okay, and all the detail that he puts in his work.
Yeah.
But it's still impressionism.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's just the way that he does things. It's like I was looking at was it a Whistler painting last night, or was it something? No, it was one of the American artists. It was an American school, I think, and it was this beautiful shot of down the front of someone's house, or a house. You saw the house on the left, and you saw the columns on the right that were holding up the balustrade. And then there was a bit of garden to the right, and just the lighting that had come across it. It was such a gorgeous painting, and when you first look at it, it almost looks like a photograph. And then because obviously it was just on a television screen, but then you look again, and you can see all the brush marks. Yeah. You can see how it's just really it's just blobs, and it wasn't detailed at all. It was just beautifully impressionistic, and it gave that impression of the real, but it was soft, and it was just a very comfortable thing to look at. And I think that's what really good comic book art is. It gets that realism across to you without being real.
Mhm.
It's a unique thing. There's no other art quite like comic book art
Look at that
in all its
worm's-
different styles.
worm's eye view
you know.
shot there.
There's VAR.
Is that great?
This page, how good is this page? I see what you're saying about this Silver Age.
Yeah.
That panel, this left-hand page, it reminds me a little bit of Colon, Gene.
Colon.
This kind of this talk kind of reminded me of a conversation or a thing that I had recently. I was talking to a potential client about a job, and it went south fairly quickly, and one of the reasons was that they sort of, because I make miniatures, 3D models and stuff, and looking at some of my art, it's not comics, right? There's a lot of the stuff is made specifically for the genre itself. Some of it's stiff because you need to make it modular so you can replace the arms, the helmets, and so on and so forth. And it's easy to not understand the medium, right? Like it's easy to pass it off and be like, oh, that's not good because of this. It does, like, applying one medium to the other and being like, this, and here I'm looking at like impressionism, and like you guys are talking about being accurate or not accurate, and it's, it just reminds me of that situation where, like, getting dismissed because somebody doesn't understand the reason why it exists, right?
Yeah.
And some of my other work is more dynamic because it's a single model and it has posing and stuff. Some of it doesn't because it has to be stiff because I need to make 300 of those for an army and have them with replaceable parts. So it's an interesting sorry, I just
No, it's it's valid point. It's about with comic books, it's about creating energy and moving a story forward. And the harder you try, it seems, the more difficult that is. So you have to let it out. You have to let it through. Just a short point before I let Glenn say what he's got to say, because it must be important, because it's Glenn. Just that bottom part of that left-hand page, that reminds me so much of Colon. That just, it makes me feel like I'm looking at a Blade panel. Yeah, just the way you're looking up at that worm's eye and that guy on the left, that just so much Colon there, so much. Sorry, Glenn. Go on.
It's all right. We're saying about the importance of learning anatomy, not drawing superheroes, drawing people. And it's easy to put a costume on later. You've got to draw the folds, the clothes, the shoes, and then you can put them in the Captain America suit. Now, the importance of these pages that this guy is showing here, this artist, is brilliant, because we said about you need to Kirby knew how to draw and then he could bend it. Well, these guys who draw these strips, and this guy in particular, they know how to draw these weapons, yet they're not fully accurate. But you've got to know how to do it so you don't do it.
You've got to know what detail to lose.
Yes, to make it work, and he's doing.
And that's what I suppose. That's when we talk about like the difference between, say, Bolland and Minola. Okay, it's how much you're willing to lose as far as detail is concerned in your chasing of style. So style over substance, and how that works. So for instance, with Bolland, it comes across as looking far more realistic, but he's still stretched people. Okay, he's still only putting in the lines that he requires, no more, no less, and that's the style that he has. And Minola is like, no, I'm gonna be more surrealistic, as it were. But it still it's still believable, the movement and and the scene setting and everything. I think when you look at, like, you know, it could be Kirby and Buscema. You know, Buscema on Conan and then Kirby on the New Gods. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's just the same kind of divide as Minola and Boland. But they're all doing the same things well. That's what's important about it.
And you were saying before about David Lloyd saying about roughs to pencils to inks to losing energy. That is why people out there listening. That is why people like Joe Sinnott and Frank Giacoya, Dick Ayers were so good at inking, because they didn't lose that energy.
Yeah,
you know, that they were penciling Jack Kirby's work or John Buscema, whatever it was, whoever the artist was. But you could still see the artist through their inks.
Yeah.
They didn't change it.
No.
Do you understand what I mean?
And just like my comment to Eric the other day on Nerd Bacon, and to all artists out there is nothing wrong with using 3D assets. There is nothing wrong with tracing on occasion. There is nothing wrong with, you know, heavily using photo reference. But if you rely on it to make your sequential art will fail. It will not be energetic. It will not move the story on correctly or appropriately. Okay. Yeah. And it won't be fun to read, because you're relying on those things. You need to be able to say, right, I'm going to sketch this thing out. I'm going to make this work, okay, without relying on the 3D asset. If you get to a point where you say, okay, I've laid down roughly what my perspective is on that scene, and I have an asset for the coffee maker in the corner, fine, adjust it to the scene that you've just created. And there's nothing wrong with using the coffee maker asset, but don't rely on it.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's where people are going wrong. That's where I see people making comic sequential art that is not engaging and exciting because they're relying too much on 3D assets. Yeah. Nothing wrong with the 3D assets. It's good to have a command of what you're using and to get things right. But if you rely on them in order to make your sequential art, then the sequential art will not be as energetic, and it won't be as enticing to the reader.
Yeah, it'll suffer.
Yeah, it'll suffer. So use the tools, absolutely, but use them in a way that isn't detrimental to the flow of your story or to the generation of your sequential progress.
We go from a strata to a very cartoony Wally Wood.
Yeah, look at that. Is that Dynamo running at us in the sense of Dynamo's dad or Dynamo's granddad? Yeah. Look at that.
You can tell he's a lot more relaxed here. He's having more fun.
Yeah.
There's no way those horses are remotely realistic.
No, they're not, but they work.
They work.
And they're only running at 2 miles an hour because that guy's not running very fast in front of you.
Yeah.
They've got their own internal dust jets.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm running at 2 miles an hour, but look at my dust.
Look at the dog going to bite the guy lying on his side. See it there. Above the dog.
Yeah.
The dog
Dog's like, dinner.
Yeah. Come on, Rex. Let's go and kill a few Brits or wherever they are.
It's lovely, isn't it? Oh, this is so full. Look at that panel, that left-hand panel there, the panel 3 on the left-hand page. The folds and the faces and the negative space involved in that small panel. Look at the negative space in there. Wow. And that bottom left-hand panel. Wow. Michael Golden.
Yeah.
Michael Golden was looking at that when he was.
Oh yeah.
It looks like Catweasel.
Yeah, it does look like Catweasel, doesn't it?
A little bit of zipper tone here to break everything up.
That's
it's
so
exciting.
Looking at this stuff here makes me think of a question I kind of wanted to ask you, Russ. Do you have a preference for like a style that you like? Do you like drawing cartoony or realistic or somewhere in the middle?
Oh,
depends on the story, doesn't it?
It depends on the story. People say, "Oh, I can tell a Russ Leach," and I can't. I feel like I kind of jump from one kind of style to the next, but I think it does come down to the story.
So no
I'm
preference.
getting to the point where I feel like I can only draw one way now. I used to be like, oh yeah, I can draw like this, I can do that. No, I think it's all sort of. I think it was because the way that I was working was I was kind of like throwing it at the wall and seeing what would happen.
Yeah.
And scattergunning my style along with the tools that I was using, and I feel like it's
finding your style.
Sorry.
I think you were finding your style.
Exactly. I was finding myself, because and it's only through drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing that you eventually find your style, isn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm tunneling towards that now. I feel like things are closing in where my style is not varying as much from one to the next. Although that said, you know, if somebody gave me a rubber hose Ben 10 job to do, I'd still do what they asked me to do. But I kind of saw that almost like a design job, to be honest.
Look at that.
That's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
That got him the Prince Valiant gig, I'll bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at the way he's dropping the jousting, what they call those things.
Jousting stick, yeah.
Well, that's
jousting stick.
Jousting stick.
That's what you do with the lance.
Jousting lance.
A lance. That's it. A lance. Yeah.
Yes, sire. I have my jousting stick.
If you kept
that's right.
If you kept it low, right, and out the entire time, the kinetic energy would just make the thing bounce and bounce, and you would never hit anything. So what they used to do is they hold it like erect, laugh if you will, and until the last second or two before they had to,
and then they just drop it.
Yeah.
It really is a crazy sport, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
How stupid! They didn't have to do that, did they? It was a game, wasn't it? It was stupid. Or did they?
Yeah, but essentially came about because of practicing warfare and the art of the time, and it was a way for the knights to not only entertain the masses through the tilt, is what they called it, in the tournament or tourney, but also to test their skill individually and without killing each other, which is a good way because they all wanted to kill each other. A bunch of warrior class of people. So
it was the WWF of its time.
Yeah.
Well, even now it's great fun to watch while you're having a chicken leg the size of your head or a bread round loaf of bread with soup in it. At a Renaissance festival.
Bring me the giant chicken breast.
That's right, giant chicken leg.
Giant chicken leg, then, mate. Yeah. Whatever you like, legs or breast.
Sit there and mow down. Yeah. It's the soup in the bowl, the chili in the bowl that really made the festival. So
chili.
Although
chili in a bread bowl. Oh, you just take a section of the bowl and dip it right in the chili, and there you go.
Jesus.
Just have a whole loaf. It's all good.
Although accidents did happen during the jousting situations, and they still happen today.
Oh yeah,
people get hurt, but they did put a lot, even for the time, right? They did put a lot of effort into not only protecting the horse, but making rules so the horse wouldn't get hurt, protecting the riders, the blunting the lance. We can see here that this isn't jousting; this is war, right? Like even though it's lance on lance warfare, those aren't blunted tips. Right, they're designed to kill, and then, but I don't know. Even the sport today, like it's not exactly safe,
No,
but safe as it can be.
And if you haven't seen George A. Romero's Night Riders, it's a movie. It's worth digging up and taking a look at. That's a traveling troupe of like Renaissance fair people, only they use motorcycles instead of horses. It's a great movie. A lot of fun, a lot of great stunts in it. More crazy wood. You can tell the cartooniness here. A lot of mad. He was doing mad at this point. So same basic style.
This is bonkers.
He draws lovely legs, Wallywood.
He does. Look at the content in each panel. Look at how full it is.
Yeah.
Even when he's got like 1, 2, 3 panels there with no apparent background.
It's still got a gray tone
But
working
it's
in
like
it,
he's
or
got a
solid.
grey tone and a black
Yeah.
in 2 of them. You know, just and then there's some minimal background as well. That's the other clever thing.
Mhm.
It's just minimal background, just enough to suggest foliage or whatever. Just brilliant. What size do you reckon he was drawing these out? Would these be normal?
It's a
11
2
by
up.
17.
I'd say
No,
they're
they're 2 up.
2
Yeah,
up.
they're
up.
still 2 up. Yeah.
2 up. God. Maybe when I'm retired, I'll start drawing some 2 up stuff.
Yeah.
It's probably what, 20, I would think 18 wide by 24 tall, 25
Yeah,
tall
no, I can't whip that on my
in
scanner.
inches.
so-
Yeah. No.
No.
It's more great cartooniness here. Beautiful
Are
background.
these books
Cartoon.
slightly wider as well? Are they like A4 kind of?
These books, no,
magazine-y?
they're standard. Yeah, they're a little bit larger than a
They
standard.
look
comic.
wider.
Little wide. Yeah.
They look wider than the standard American comic size.
Well, nowadays, yeah, everything's been
Yeah.
trimmed down. They're golden age. They fit golden age comic bags. They're a little
Right.
bit bigger. Yeah, that didn't shrink down until the 12 centers popped up in the 60s. They started trimming down. Shall we go one more? We're about 22.
Yes.
Yep.
If we're quick.
I don't know if we can be quick
Wake.
because it's pretty.
Wake Island. Wow. Look at that.
Colon.
Wow.
Gene
Gene's
Colan
there. Look at that.
I didn't know that.
coming in. Yep.
Look at that plane.
We're hitting a period in Two Fisted Tales where they had they were trying out a lot of different artists, a lot of great
Right.
stuff here. So, yep, this
People
next
that were on
story
their
is
way
Gene
up.
Colan. Yep,
Mm.
exactly.
Oh, wow.
Giving people jobs because they were that good.
Yeah.
We're hitting 52. Comics are starting to thin out a little bit.
If only that happened now, eh?
So folks are out looking for work. And the best place to get work was EC. EC only took the best. Look at that.
Look at that guy drinking. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fabulous, isn't it?
just
I love
great.
that guy with the pipe.
Yeah.
Third panel, first page. That's just
Yeah.
Yeah. He must be intelligent, that guy with the
yeah.
Like he's
Oh,
got,
he's
a
got
little
no
Popeye at
glasses
him.
though. He's
Yeah.
got no glasses. Yeah.
It's got a little who is it? Not Leslie Nielsen. I always get him mixed up. He's got that look about him. What was his name? Bridges, Lloyd Bridges.
Oh yeah.
He's got a little Lloyd Bridges in him. Probably pretty big at that point.
Has he got some wash on it?
White-eyed kid. That is line work.
Look at the guy drinking. It is the side of his face and
Yeah.
his temple. Is that
This
line?
is all thin line work.
On the far left, panel 3,
Yeah,
the shirt.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Is that lines?
Yeah, that's all line.
You know what?
Blinking blimey.
I'm taking it. Colin obviously did the inks on this, and they're just like his drawings, aren't they? The way he shades on the drawings.
Very much so. That's very Gene Colan right there.
Yeah.
Look at that hand.
Fabulous.
That
Very
just-
expressive. Everything's
Yep.
so expressive.
He's got that style down already. He just gets looser the farther along he goes. Yeah. Really tight stuff. Look at that face.
The silhouette of that battleship there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
look at
line
that.
work again.
Oh my god.
You can tell he's kicking it out here. He's just doing his best to impress.
And look at how good those aircraft are there.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
And the weight on the
Yeah.
on the
The
bombs.
bombs. Yeah.
Yeah.
They really are falling, aren't they?
Yeah.
Wow. Get down. Womp.
Yeah, I'll never forget seeing the first issue of Strange Adventures magazine that Marvel did back in the 80s, because there was a aviation strip in it that was just incredible. And the artwork on it was phenomenal. I went to look for who the artist was, and it was Herb Trempe.
Oh,
And I'm like, holy crap, that's amazing. Just night and day to the stuff that he was doing at the time for
What's that?
Hulk and the other superhero books.
That panel there, right hand page, panel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
the Wham one.
No, 5. No, that's 6. Panel 6. Sorry.
Yeah.
The way that the body is
Yeah.
contorted there, that's just.
Look at the detail on the rifle as well. On the top
Yeah.
left, the detail on that
Yeah.
rifle is amazing. Sorry, Randy, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're out, right? Up here, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and the water as well
Yeah.
under that on the
It's just
panel
amazing.
1 on the right hand page. That's
Yeah. That
wow.
battle script. Blue.
All line work again. Line work, very little brush work. There's a little brush work you can tell outlining the characters. Everything else is all just real thin lines. I don't know if he laid that down by a pen or a brush, but it's really intricate. Here, I'm sure, is a brush right in here.
And
The
that,
thing is, if that was at 2 up, you could do it,
Yeah.
with brush, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
you
bomb
could.
going off is really blowing up, isn't it, as well? That whomp.
It is. That's a classic explosion. That looks like a classic Silver Age explosion there.
Yeah. And again, just phenomenal stuff. Very Gene Colan here too.
Wow.
Fledgling. Jack Davis.
You can hear the motors
Exactly.
going.
Yep.
Look at it. Look at it. The way that he's looking at the camera there, bottom right. That's
Yeah.
cracking.
Here, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Davis.
So look, that looks a little bit Gibbons as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does all the way up until there. You can see
Yeah.
that it's Jack Davis
Yeah.
from the inking on it. It just
Yeah. But up
really
until
stands
there,
out. But yeah,
up until that last panel, that could be Gibbons.
this could
Yeah.
be George Evans here
Yeah.
too. Just beautifully rendered. If only a little stubby
Yeah, but
compared to the actual plane. But
and also notice again, okay, we're 2 up still, but
Yeah.
still look at the amount of open white there is.
oh yeah,
Only what's needed.
it's a little
Look at
cloud
the-
work.
Look at the Toy Town wheels as well.
Yeah.
They don't
And-
look like they support anything.
And
do they?
the propellers in motion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love it.
Interesting about the perspective on this image is it looks like the center of the image is where the propeller is, and then the sort of where the center line is, and how it kind of shifts backwards a bit. Because if it was,
Yeah.
if the center was where the hat was, then you wouldn't see, it wouldn't be straight. It would be a little bit to the left. Like you would.
Yeah,
The angle would
you'd
be
see a
slightly
little
different.
bit of the front of the
Shall we keep going then?
Yeah.
We'll finish off this.
As long as you're quick. 10-2.
We'll have to be quick.
Oh damn!
Or do you want to leave it?
It's
Do you want to come back to it?
let's come back to this.
Well, we want to do
Yeah.
Kirby
let's
next time. Right?
Yeah, let's not. I don't want to hurry through this. So
All right. Well, we'll pick up here at Fledgling then. It's kind of a shame because I think the story after this is
Well, we got time.
no. That's just me. Some great stuff coming up there.
no, put it
Yeah, show
away.
us.
Let's
Yep,
just
yep.
Put it
More
away.
stuff
watch the
coming,
next
folks.
show.
We'll leave it there.
Yeah.
We'll
And if
we'll
we
pick it
get
up
to
next
the
time.
if we get to the end of
Yeah.
it during that show, we can just you can just
Great
whop
panel.
out one of your books from your from your rack.
Oh, believe me, there's still so much more
Yeah.
here left to go.
We know.
We'll
we
look
hate
at some
you.
Kirby next week though as a palate cleanser. Is that what we
Yeah.
want to do?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
Yeah. Well, how much is left in this book?
Oh, we just started this book.
Oh, are we? Oh,
Oh,
God.
wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We could
Let's-
go
let's
about
do some
12
Kirby.
issues. Plus, there is a
Yeah.
there is a he said reaching. There is a 4th volume
God,
Oh,
blimey.
wow.
as well.
John Severin
Wow.
again.
Jeez.
That's just the annual there. That was a
Look
bunch of
at
report
that.
stories. But
Good Lord.
that's
Is that-
Kurtzman.
It's that fear again in the eyes, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Jeez, look at that.
Here's EC's first 2-fisted annual. Yep. Didn't and only, I believe. More to come, folks. Kirby next week. Then we'll get back to this again. Maybe Halo Jones in between. We'll see.
Wow.
We appreciate everybody coming. There's so much more great stuff to see. More Colin Williamson. Some guy named Kubert is coming up in there as well.
Some guy.
So great stuff. Great stuff. Folks, we really appreciate you stopping by. We love doing this. We hope that you had a good time as well. Make sure you leave a like or a comment there. Any interaction that you have on our pages just helps the algorithm, and we really appreciate it. Glenn, tell folks how they can find you.
You can find me here on Friday mornings with Randy again on Sunday afternoons. You can find me on Fund My Comic, where you'll be able to pick up a copy of my cartoon character Hatch, which gives you the history and of his creation with lots of unpublished artwork in there. You can find me on Amazon with Comics Unlimited, which is a I don't know. I've lost that when it comes out now. It comes out every now and again. Let's call it that, which is usually 100 pages about comics and artwork and articles and all that kind of thing. And if you go over to New Haven Publishing and Amazon, you can pick up Jack Kirby book that I wrote about my visits to see the great man twice in the late 80s, early 90s. And if you go to Google, put my name in, go to Amazon, you can find all my books and everything. Got 11 books up there, varying subjects. So take a look.
Russ, tell folks how they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at russleach.com. All my social medias are there, and go over there and sign up to the email list. If for some reason the site isn't working, just come back. It'll just be a few minutes. There's something going on with the servers, but it's all cool. So just sign up to the email list. We've got the Shadow Kingdom coming in March, and here's some of the pages. We're going for a retro color. We originally going for black and white, but it's a hard sell, unfortunately. So maybe that's for another time where we reprint it in black and white originals. So we're going for a sort of a Savage sort of Conan, or is it the King Conan stuff? The floppies. That's the kind of look we're going for. I think we're succeeding at the moment. There's some nice stuff in here.
Back when comics were more colorful than
it's
Photoshop toned.
It's flat retro colors with the occasional grad, and that's what we're working on. So it's more than halfway through. It'll easily be done for March, no problem at all. So
you finished drawing it now?
Oh yeah. I'm totally into the colors now. Yeah. So we've got some nice stuff from there's the starting page. Is on all. There you go.
Start lettering that this week, probably within the next day or so.
Yeah. So we've got some nice stuff going on in there. We've got some lovely art from Glenn as well that will be going in there. And it's going to be a great package. We'll have the prose in the book as well. It's probably going to end up close to 100 pages in the end. But it's 69 pages of strip. And we'll see how that's received, because we'd really like to do some original stories for that as well. But we'll see how this one goes.
Do you want me to send you the artwork I've coloured so you can scan it, because my scanner's not up to speed?
Yeah, sure.
So
Yeah,
if I send it down to you. You can.
Yeah. Okay, and we'll see, because I some of those I think we might just have as originals,
right?
By you and me rather than prints, because I don't know quite how the distribution is going to work. So obviously it's going to be easier if we don't have lots of extras. If we just have the book.
I'll send you the logos down as well.
Yeah. So it may well be that we just end up selling the artwork between the two of us as part of the production. Because there's lots of people out there that do like original art, especially coloured stuff, beautiful coloured stuff like yourself, like the stuff you do. So we'll see, where all that fits in. But it's been great, because being able to work with Randy and having Glenn involved as well, that's just so cool.
Can you show them the cover that I've coloured on while you're on there? Have you got it there?
Hold on a sec. Give me time.
The great thing about this book is we're gonna it's gonna be a faithful adaptation to the story, and that'll be the first time that has really been done, with a lot of Howard's prose work in there as well, and that stuff's just amazing. The story is great. It's recognized as the first sword and sorcery story in America that was done, really the start of the genre. So
I think a great move, Randy, that you've made there is to put the prose in the book as well.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good move.
I got that from the Ablaze Sumerian books. It was good to.
It's
just a great thing to see, though, especially
just own it. Just own it.
Yeah,
I think it's nice. Yeah.
Especially with the stories being in public domain and open for anybody, this kind of work really needs to get out there and to be read by people, because Howard was amazing. Just a great writer.
They're redoing Savage Sword of Conan bi-monthly, aren't they? And they've got a Solomon Kane story in there by Pat Zurcher, the art on
really?
Wow. Yeah. And cool. it's looking quite good, actually. It's looking quite nice. But obviously they can get away with putting out those black and whites because it's not as difficult to sell. They've got a much broader marketing and all the rest of it. Yeah. So I think if we go for that kind of like 70s, 80s, retro color, King Conan, monthly Conan style look to what we're doing for the first graphic novel, I think that would be nice. And then we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah.
So here's the mock-up. It's like a mock-up of what the cover might be like. This is my pencils with Glenn's wash over the top, which is quite nice. The Shadow Kingdom logo is lovely, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, looks great in color.
Some wonderful typography from there. Glenn showing his design chops there as well.
Shrink that arrow logo down just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's
just a mock-up for the moment.
Yep, very much
to see how things get. Very nice indeed.
Going to be a great.
Go. So anyway, that's on. Go to russleach.com, sign up for the email list, and it will be launched on Fund My Comic in March.
1st of March. Yep.
I don't know if it's the 1st. I don't know if that's a Monday or what. But
is it? Well, somewhere in there, right at the start.
Early March.
At the start of March.
Right. Yeah. First possible business day of March. There you go.
Right. Whiskey, tell folks how they can find you.
Sure. You can find me there at just type that into Google there. I actually got a bit of a rant I kind of want to go through because it's been irritating the piss out of me, if you will. You find me there. But recently, just before the Eric July interview, we're talking about work and perception about work, and I ran across a potential client, and someone, I'm not going to name any names, but somebody fairly up in the comic industry want to take a look at my work, and he just pissed it all away and just dismissed me. And one of the most irritating things he said, there's not enough there to determine what you can do. And he couldn't figure out that these images, expandy boomer juiced on me. And there's like a whole gallery of work here, right? And but what kind of irritates me is the perception that there isn't skill involved in any of this, because some of my models are stiff, some aren't. They're designed based on the limitations of the time that I have, and I get dismissed a lot by other comic artists because it's not the medium that they understand. These are such time-consuming things, and it's a completely different thing. Like, I'm capable of doing, posing and weight, and but also like cloth physics and drawing cloth. I'm capable of doing hard surface and clean line work, and a lot of this stuff. I guess one of my earlier pieces is a little stiff, but a lot of this stuff is designed the way that it is for very specific reasons. And it's a joke to some people, but it's not a joke to me. This stuff is extremely difficult to do. And not a lot of people are, taking it, in the comic industry, they just dismiss it out of hand. Like when I show a lot of this stuff to my peers in the 3D modeling thing, they come to me with for advice and critiques, Like I sit on Discords and different social media with thousands of other artists, and they come to me because I'm one of the best in those particular groups. And it is extremely difficult and really disheartening when somebody dismisses you out of a hand because they don't understand what goes into this stuff. It's not comics. It's a different medium, and it's cartoony. It's different. It's I don't know. It's just I just need to talk about it because it's been really, really bothering me lately. Like I needed that job, I needed that contract, and just to be dismissed like that because they don't understand it is I don't know. I just wanted to say that. I appreciate you guys listening. I had to get off my chest.
It's okay, mate.
We all get on that soapbox every once in a while. So
yeah,
it's all right. It's all good. Folks, I've been your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can find my work over at aerocomics.store right now, where you can get such works as Herobot Zero, which is a character I created and drew most of the comic of. It's a 3-foot tall giant robot fighting menaces in his hometown. Paragon as well. It's a superhero title I'm really proud of, with a great ending with artwork by J.R. Harris. And also Calico Ashard, which I don't seem to have in my stack right now. It's a great fantasy title by C. Michael Lanning. Aerocomics.store. Go over there and take a look at that. One of these days, I ran across this. I don't know if I've shown you this or not. Sinister House of Secret Love.
Wow.
A DC title. It's a gothic romance book comic.
When is that from?
The Bride and the Falcon. Yeah, it is. Got a photo
73.
cover on it. It is 72.
72, not bad.
It's got a long story in it. It's what is it, 52 pages? Yeah, 52 big pages for only 25 cents. But the entire story is a gothic romance story done by the great Alex Toth.
Oh.
Wow.
So we'll have to look at that sometime very soon.
I
ran across that and put it on my pile here next to the computer.
I think we need to do a show every night, Randy.
We can show that off. Yeah.
You get through it all.
This Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to go through this wonderful dynamite book, this collection of the art of Ramona Fradon.
Wow.
So don't miss out. It's Metamorpho, it's Aquaman, it's Brenda Starr.
Metamorpho.
It's some great material. Very different from the material that we're looking at right now. So,
hey, Sugar. No.
Sugar's in the house. Red
Sugar's
dress.
in the house.
Hail all.
We're on the way out.
Hail, on the way out. Kirby next week.
Yeah.
Ramona Fradon this Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. 5 a.m. next Friday. We'll look at some great Kirby, Commandy, OMAC at least, maybe one or two more of the more unusual books that Kirby have done, depending upon if I can get through my long boxes or not, and find a couple of more things to show. So I do have the Adventures of Captain 3D down here that he did, but I don't know how that would translate over to the camera because it's made for 3D glasses. So, folks,
3D glasses over the camera.
Yeah, to put 3D glasses, so it'll be great. Yeah, I don't have a pair, unfortunately. I wish I did. Folks, deeply appreciate you being here. We know the majority of our viewers happen after the fact, and we deeply appreciate you as well. I love watching that number go up throughout the week, and we hope that you enjoy this stuff as much as we do, and you love this art form as much as we do as well. And if you do, tell people about it. Be more positive about it. These social platforms have enough negativity and trolling to last. Let's just be done with that and talk positively about this art form. What a wonderful form of communication that everybody can enjoy, and in every aspect. And there should be a lot more comics out there, just like you see in manga, comics for everybody. There should be golfing comics. There should be fishing comics. There should be all sorts of romance comics out there, even if it's not your thing. What a great art form. What a great way of communication. So appreciate it. Go look at fundmycomic.com. Look for the Aero Comic stuff. Look for Hatch Annotated over there as well. Glenn's book needs some love, folks. Go over there and take a look. So
I think there should be buttered sausage comics as well.
Buttered Sausage Comics. Yep. It's on the bucket list.
And Burrito Comics.
Where
Burritos
the pages
in
get
reverse.
stuck together.
Let's talk about buttered sausage. Talk about buttered sausage.
No, let's not talk about buttered sausage.
Baby Comics.
Everybody take care. See you Sunday, 9 a.m. Indie Comics Network, Black Belt, Comic Book Black Belt YouTube channel, the Randy Zim YouTube channel. Go over there and enjoy, like, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time here on Comics by Night.
Yeah, those are
Take
done. Yeah.
care, everybody.
The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors.
If you look at something and there's nothing there, what's the difference of figuring out what it was in the first place?
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with theory.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
How dare you?
Get off my lawn.
And I just want to say, when my time comes, I want to be buried face down, so that anyone who doesn't like me can kiss my ass.
Taste the biscuit, taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce, taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce.